Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, we are going to do an update to the Las Vegas real estate market. And what we're going to do is we're just going to really talk about two things, inventory and absorption rate.
Okay.
Those are super important. I'm going to throw this slide up. Well, I asked Juana some questions. Juana, it is currently basically the beginning of August, end of July, beginning of August. We're in that phase of it's not the spring, it's not the fall, we're transitioning. What tends to happen to home prices from the spring to the fall?
So between spring and fall, as we finish off spring, then home prices tend to kind of level out. And as we go into fall, home prices tend to decline. And the reason for that is because we're bringing more homes on the market than the number of homes that we're selling. Part of the reason for that is because the people with little people are want to get settled in the spring for the upcoming school year. So by the time we get into the late summer, early fall, they're already settled in and they're not looking for a new home. So that's part of the reason why we're absorbing less homes as we get into late summer and into the fall.
Okay, what about inventory?
So inventory tends to climb, like I said, because we're continuing to bring homes on the market, but we're absorbing less homes because we actually have a smaller buyer pool because a certain section of the buyer pool is not moving as the school year starts.
Okay, something unusual though is starting to happen. We did not see this 3 weeks ago. This is something that's just started. Mm-hmm. It's like something's changed in the last 3 weeks in real estate here in Vegas, at least. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about here is if you look down to where it says inventory. Inventory 4450, that's just for Las Vegas. That's all we talk about is Las Vegas. We're not include the whole MLS or a bunch of crazy data. This was the beginning of July. This is the end of July, and it has skyrocketed all the way up to 4485, which is 35 houses. Juana, that is basically zero.
That is.
It's basically zero. It's like it's less than 1%.
Statistically insignificant, yes.
It's basically none. We have not seen inventory climb. What's interesting is when you look at this chart, if you look all the way to the right, you'll see that 4,400 number is what that dot represents. But if you go back every year from this point, you can see we're in a phase where inventory is generally rising. Of course, 2022 is a big rise just because of interest rate shock. But it's sort of leveling off, which is kind of weird for it to happen. We don't know what's going to happen next 3 months, but this is unusual that this is happening. Now, remember that 4,400 number. I'm going to show you this next chart. Okay, what this chart is this is the same chart, but for a video that we did 2 years ago. Okay? 2 years ago, the reason why this chart's here is go all the way to the left where I've underlined October 2018 to November 2019. That was a whole year, right, Juana? Mm-hmm. October of one year to November of the next year is 12 months. Inventory this entire time was basically between 5,000 and 6,000. Didn't start to drop off until the spring of 2020. So we had very high inventory, much higher than we have today, like much higher. Mm-hmm. 20% more inventory. There was no signs of a housing crash. People were calling for a housing crash. People were saying nobody's buying houses. We still have far less homes on the market. And of course, those really low, the area you see there, 2021 and early 2022 was the hottest market we've ever seen in our lives for Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. Should we have more homes on the market than we had in 2018 and 2019?
We can argue that absolutely we should. Our population has grown since then, so we should have more homes on the market. Okay.
The next thing, shockingly, that we really didn't see coming is this. This is the market segments. If you look all the way to the area I circled, new and absorbed, new homes that have come into the MLS. These are new listings, right, Juana? Mm-hmm. Absorbed just means it went under contract. What's interesting is that total inventory number isn't including these yet because this lags by probably 3-4 weeks. We just started to see this a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It is highly likely in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, what we'll see is that inventory is actually declining already, which is highly unusual. right? It's like it's almost never declines at this time of year. In the top quarter of the market, 46, which is basically probably everything over a million, 46 new listings, 76 were purchased. 71, and remember, this is just for the last week. We did this video a week ago, and these numbers were just for that week. 71 new listings in the second quarter of the highest priced homes, 85 absorbed. And then the bottom, you can see a lot of homes, probably 40, 50 more homes than were listed were disappeared. Now, some of these homes were not the homes listed. They've been on the market, but a lot of these might have been just stuff that, came on the market and went under contract right away, right?
Right.
Okay, what are you seeing maybe, because it's like a tale of two cities. I'm hearing some people say, oh, my house has been on the market forever. If I don't sell, I'm going to take it off. They're maybe have optimistic pricing, we'll call it that, just to be fair to the people. Because there are a lot of people, we say, hey, your home's overpriced. They go, we don't care. We'll just, right? It's just how it is.
Right.
Okay. So what's going on out there? Why is this happening? Like, what do you see out there every day? You talk to agents every day. You talk to clients every day. You're seeing this.
Right. I mean, look, buyers are buying, sellers want to sell, but they want to sell for their Goldilocks price, right? And sometimes they get it and sometimes they don't. There is no lack of buyers. And I've been saying this for a long time, there's lack of product. There is more product. We've had more product this year than we did last year, and that's good. It's just still not enough to satisfy the buyer demand. So just because some homes are sitting on the market, they're sitting on the market either because the homes are not a fit for the buyers that are looking in that area or at that price point, or the homes are sitting on the market because the price is not compelling buyers to take a look at the home and make an offer. But homes that are priced appropriately are selling, and most of them are still selling relatively quickly. They're still selling within a couple of months, which I think is really super fast. What are you guys seeing out there? What's happening in your neighborhood? Drop us a note in the comments and tell us what's happening.
Yeah, to put this in perspective, we had over 26,000 houses in the MLS, of which probably 14,000 of those were in Las Vegas back in 2006 when we were actually getting ready to experience a housing crash. The inventory levels obviously a fraction of that. But what's even more so interesting is, remember, that was like 17 years ago. 2006 was 19 years ago. Vegas was much smaller. Like, we've grown substantially in the last 20 years. The number of houses we would have to have listed on this chart, this number would have to be, to have the same effect as last time, would have to be probably 20,000 just for the city of Las Vegas, probably 40,000 for the MLS. We're not seeing anything like that. Just thought we'd share this because, it's pretty predictable what happens every year. People in the fall or in the spring are moving into houses. They're getting ready for the school year, job transfers. That's like the season. That's why there's a lot of housing activity. And then the rest of the year is kind of like just random, normal, run-of-the-mill real estate, chilling out, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we just thought this was interesting because we're like, what's going on? Like, we saw these numbers and went, hey, this is like the second week in a row. And then I looked at that inventory number and thought, hey, you know what? In 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to go down. And I don't think in any of the charts we showed you, inventory dropped. If you look at the chart here, I'll put it back up. None of the years from this point that we're showing on this chart, from today, the little dot, inventory dropped. And it appears to be doing that. So think this interest rates drop maybe in the next rest of the year, and it could be a very interesting spring next year. What do you think about next spring? You optimistic for next spring, or?
I am. I think that there's going to be a lot of turnover next spring. I think that people have a lot of pent-up demand to just change their environment for whatever reason. People have been kind of stuck for a little while, and I think they've had enough, and I think that they will go out there and put their homes on the market, go look for another home. It'll be interesting to see what happens with new home builders. Here in Las Vegas, they are building. It's just not fast enough for what we need. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, for those of you who are saying, well, new home builders, they have all these incentives, so clearly they're desperate. Well, yes and no. They're just trying to move product before the next guy does, so that they can keep turning homes. Because remember, they need to turn product in order to continue to build, because that's how they generate revenue to continue to build.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. If you enjoyed the video, or if you enjoyed the charts, or listening to Todd, or any part of this, please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, leave us your real estate related comments, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.